Many thanks to George at British Bookaholic, not only for tagging me in this awesome video tag, but also for the very kind words that you said. They like me. They really like me. This is the titles tag, though seriously, I think it should be renamed to the titles and awesome headgear tag. George was sporting a very cool Captain America hat, so I kind of felt the need to reciprocate. For those of you who don't know, with this tag, you were supposed to find the book with the longest title you've ever seen, the book with the shortest title you've ever seen, a book with a title that has nothing to do with the book itself, a book with a title that suits it perfectly, a book with the most annoying title, and as a last fun thing, you make up a title of your own using all of the titles that you have listed. So let's get started. The shortest title I've ever seen is probably Hoot by Carl Hyacin. Unless I can count something that I've written, because last year I did a fan fiction that with an even shorter title. Air. The longest title is, I believe, book number 3 of The Mad Misadventures of Emmeline and Rubber Bones by Howard Whitehouse. Give me a second. The Faceless Fiend being the tale of a criminal mastermind, his masked minions, and a princess with a butter knife, involving explosives and a certain amount of pushing and shoving. Now, for those of you who are going to argue that that's technically a subtitle and shouldn't really count, I checked it on Amazon, my library's website, and the Goodreads site, and they all have it listed as the actual title, so it counts. The book with a title that has nothing to do with the story. And I'm going to swap out hats now because this is really hot. Okay, if nobody knows, Foot Ninja. Foot Ninja. The book with a title that has nothing to do with the book itself. This one actually took me a little while to find. I'm going to have to do with Crocodile on the Sandbank by Elizabeth Peters. This is the first book in the Amelia Peabody series, and there were no crocodiles that I can recall. There was a lot of sand because it took place in Egypt. There was archaeology, there was mummies, there was a mystery, there were some dirty scoundrels, but there were no crocodiles. And even if there were crocodiles, obviously they didn't make a huge impact on the story because it's only been a couple of months since I read this book, and I do not remember any crocodiles on any sandbanks. The book with a title that suits it perfectly. Now, considering that the point of a title is to sum up and perfectly suit a book in the first place, there are a lot of really good ones that I could pick. Like Eats, Shoots, and Leaves is a really good example, or, you know, the list goes on. But the one that I'm going to pick is Split Second by David Baldacci. This is the first book in his King and Maxwell series, and I'm so sad that the show got cancelled. It was an awesome show. TNT, what are you thinking? Sorry, rant over. I chose this because not only does the title relate perfectly to the storyline, but the idea of a split second is inextricably caught up in the character of Sean King, the predicament of the two prominent characters throughout the entire storyline, and it's also linked with the resolution of the story. So it's a really good, relevant title, but it's also a clever exposition on the story as a whole, which I totally appreciated. Book titles, in my opinion, are a lot like puns. They are really, really good if they have a double meaning, or once you read the book you figure out, oh yeah, so that had to do with that, and that, and that, and that was totally clever. So that is what Split Second by David Baldacci did. The most annoying title. This one I had to stew over for a while, and I'm going to have to go with Constable and Toop by Gareth P. Jones because I just finished reading it, and while I loved the book, I did feel that the title, I don't know, there could have been a better title. I totally understand why Jones chose it as his title because in the author's note in the back of the book, he says that he actually saw a business in London called Constable and Toop, and that's what inspired just the entire story idea. But just from reading the story, just from that perspective, I think he could have come up with a more relevant and better suited title. But I also know that there are plenty more titles out there that annoyed me much more than that for much better reasons. I just can't think of any right now. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Make up your own title using the titles that you've been given. And if you thought the longest title was long, just wait until you hear this saga. The Princess Constable, being the second tale of a certain explosive butter knife and a criminal involving masked crocodiles, a shoving Toop, and a hooting amount of pushing faceless minions into the split sandbank. Woohoo! So, now I am going to tag other people, which I totally didn't think of before I started filming this video, so hang on just a second. First of all, I have to tag Ellie at Booking the Trend because she is terribly amusing and she has an awesome mustache pen, so I'm really excited to see what she does with this. You rock. And we're gonna tag, let's see, Marissa at Little Spider 9 because I have absolutely loved her channel, especially when I found out that Little Spider 9 is actually derived from Spider-Man, which is her favorite superhero, which is my favorite superhero, so that totally rocks. And let's do Kayla at Bookadoodles. So, you guys go ahead and have fun with this. If you've already done it, that's okay. I will probably find that out eventually. And I'm sorry if I tagged you and you've already done it. So, I hope you guys have fun. I'm looking forward to that. Don't forget to send me a message when you get that up and going because I would totally love to watch it. This video tagging. I like it.